responders and teachers get in free. Reservations are required. Visit thebox.live before it's sold out.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Heritage Home Lending in Rapid City is a proud supporter of high school sports. Heritage Home Lending is your locally owned mortgage brokerage, specializing in VA home loans. At Heritage Home Lending, you get to work with local people, offering competitive financing for purchasing and refinancing. Heritage Home Lending is committed to helping our service members and veterans with specific expertise in VA home loans. For all your home loan needs, work with a local company that you can trust. Get started at heritagehomelending.sd.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
$150,000 and also fined Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 after Ulbrich's son pranked Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft over the weekend.
I'd like to publicly apologize to Shedeur and the Sanders family for what occurred. My actions of not protecting confidential data were inexcusable. My son's actions were absolutely inexcusable. And for that, we are both deeply sorry.
Baltimore Ravens are picking up the fifth-year option on the contract of safety Kyle Hamilton. They will not be picking up the fifth-year option on center Tyler Linderbaum. However, the Ravens did release a statement saying that their intention is to have Linderbaum be a piece of the franchise for their long-term future. Warriors and Rockets, Game 5, 7:30 Eastern. Timberwolves and Lakers, 10 Eastern tonight in their Game 5. Tigers beat the Astros 7-4. Rockies snap an 8-game slide, beating Atlanta 2-1. Cardinals down the Reds by a score of 6-0. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show is back on. We're live on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, ready to go. Great guest lineup tonight. Let's feature some good guys across the board, high school to college to the pros. We got you covered tonight. Hoops to football and everything in between. Let's get going. The Nate Brown Show on live on X right now. If you follow us, you can watch us live. Remember that, at Nate Brown Show. So if you haven't followed the show, you can do that at Nate Brown Show on X, formerly known as Twitter. You've got us at Nate Brown Show. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Watch the show live there on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. We are ready to go. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. Let's look at the great guest lineup, tell you who's coming up, and then we'll get rocking today and get you on as well. Mike Golick Jr. is on tonight live, college football analyst for TNT Sports. Mike Golick Jr. on a lot to discuss from the college football side. There's a story out today that a college football program is going to spend a massive amount of dollars on NIL. I mean, we thought Ohio State was in large last year at $20 million. This story just came out. Unbelievable amount. We'll hit Mike Golick Jr. on that and the NFL draft situation. Mike Golick Jr., one of the great guests, he's coming up. It's Craig Maddock time tonight. Craig Maddock in from SDPB Sports. We'll hit a lot of South Dakota sports with Craig. That's on tap. Chris Denker's on live from California, pro basketball scout, former D1 college coach. He's with Net Scouts Basketball. He's got a lot to say about the officiating, the physicality, the NBA playoffs, this 2025 version. Chris Denker, great basketball guest. He's coming up next. And Dave Hollenbeck's on tonight. Speaking of hoops, Dave Hollenbeck's the head coach at St. Thomas More, longtime head coach, one of the all-time great coaches in South Dakota, I believe. And Coach Hollenbeck's sons, he's got 2 sons that are now playing D1 college basketball. That's quite a story. 2 sons playing D1 college basketball, and they had an interesting route to get there, and we'll dive into that with Coach Hollenbeck. Appreciate him coming on. St. Thomas More, longtime boys basketball coach. Wednesday edition of the program will get you on. You can call us on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline, 605-720-1067. So remember that. Put it in your phone if you listen to the program religiously. Are there some of you out there? I hope so. You can call us 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line always open. I just opened it here on the app. Text us on the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. You've got the number. I've got some questions of the day, and let's get popping here on a Wednesday. So, okay, all right. I know everybody's joking about this. It's funny. Everybody thinks it's funny. I like the funny. You like the funny? Well, I don't know if I like the funny, joking about this and joking about that. This day and age, it seems like you get in trouble if you take things too serious. Don't overreact, Nate. Don't overreact. Don't take things too serious. We're just joking. You know, the prank call to Shedeur Sanders. It's funny. Don't worry about stuff like this. Running onto the court and getting in players' faces, it's just not that big a deal. It's let's joke around about it, you know, tongue in cheek, wink, wink. It's not that big a deal. It'll blow over. Let me just get at this here. The situation last night. So let's go to it. If you haven't heard it, let's go to it last night. The headline out of the Pacers-Bucks game was Tyrese Halliburton's dad getting onto the floor at the end of the game and taunting Giannis. So you remember how I've said on this show, well, maybe not, but I'll remind you. We always wonder, are fans and parents worse today than they were back in the day with me and you? I'm talking about our folks, that generation. So I've asked this question because we've went into some topics on this about parents acting badly at youth sports games, people yelling at refs, over the top, just crazy, people assaulting refs. So I've gotten into this topic quite a bit. And this is the perfect example here. I really believe this, where people, you know, we always ask the question, are parents and fans worse today? Or is it just that we see it more because we got cell phone videos and we got social media and it's in our face all the time? We got all this content and all these media companies and everybody is throwing everything out there. So that's always the question here. And I've actually had people on both sides of it where people have texted into the show and stuff like this and they say, well, I don't know if people are worse today at games. It's probably just because we see it. You know, we see the fight videos in the stands just because we have the phones. There always used to be knockdown dragouts, and there always used to be fans running on the court and getting in players' faces. Well, hang on a second. Let's just be realistic here. Last night is a perfect example that I believe it didn't always used to be like this. Do I remember Michael Jordan's parents? James Jordan. Do I remember Michael Jordan's dad getting onto the floor and taunting Isaiah Thomas? I mean, do you guys remember that? Do I remember Magic Johnson's parents, Irvin Johnson Sr.? Do I remember Irvin Johnson Sr. getting onto the floor and taunting the Celtics, Larry Bird? Do I remember Kobe's parents? Yeah, let's bring it into the new, even a little bit newer. Kobe's parents, they get onto the floor, taunt the other team, man. Yeah. This isn't just a one bad thing. This is the epitome of how we let fans get out of control. And I think we let them get out of control early back at the youth sports level. I really believe this. I think people are missing. They're saying, oh, it'll blow over. It's just, bad judgment, just a little thing there, and not a big deal. But we would have never dreamed of this with Michael Jordan's parents doing that. That's what I mean. It goes back to these athletes that are the stars in this new era. They've been told they're untouchable. They're just special. The parents then think, we are the real deal. And the parents kind of think, I am the real deal. Why can Tyrese Halliburton's dad run onto the court last night? Because nobody wanted to tell him, hey, you can't be on the court. Because, I'm Tyrese Halliburton's dad. Who are you? I've heard those before. Who are you anyway? Yeah, we know that. We know that. So this whole scenario plays out, guys, and everybody's saying, yeah, it's not that big a deal. I actually believe what best explains a dad coming onto the court after an NBA playoff game, they're bold enough to do that, is our sports culture that has been created. And yes, it starts at the youth sports level of parents being out of control at games, parents being very bold at games, fans in the social media world, you take it to another level, they think it's funny. We're going to do some things at a game, record it, and put it out there for everybody to see. We're going to trash talk Russell Westbrook and take it over the top. We're going to see if we can get a reaction out of these guys. And so now it even gets into a dad. And I'll say this today. Tyrese Halliburton's dad has apologized. Okay, it was a bad deal and not a reflection of what who we are and stuff like that. Okay, that's how we always do this. Say we do something bad, and then we say, I'm sorry, it's no deal, really sorry about it, and everybody moves on, and that's fine. Because America is a forgiving country. I believe that. Usually if you screw up here, you say you're sorry, you take responsibility, and people move forward, and it's fine. But today, I think about the whole situation last night, and I thought, as I was watching that play out, I saw Giannis go head-to-head with the dad, and I'm sitting here, what are we doing here? Let's take this back. It's James Jordan going head-to-head with Magic Johnson. James Jordan going head-to-head with Dennis Rodman and Joe Dumars. Huh? I mean, this is just wild. And I'm telling you, it didn't used to be like this. Heated rivalries. Heated. Physical. Fired up. I think that's why people are interested in some of these games this year in the NBA. The ratings are off the charts. Highest in 25 years. Might be because of some of this heat. Some of this stuff. That's all good. That's how the game used to be as well. There's great rivalries. Celtics, Lakers, Bulls, Pistons, the list goes on. The great rivalries. We didn't have goofy stuff like this happen. And I honestly believe the athletes are untouchable at an early age. They're untouchable. The parents get that feeling. And then we take it over the top in the sensationalized world. We love talking trash, and I mean, it goes to how players play and the whole thing. Yes, did players used to do certain things back in the day? Sure, after they made a three, maybe, but not every single time now. I mean, we make a three in high school basketball, and we do the boom, the three-pointer. The high school basketball players do this. I don't remember doing that type of stuff way back in the day, like every shot you make. This is the sports culture, is what I'm saying. Our sports culture has glamorized the look at me stuff. And Tyrese Halliburton's dad got ahead of himself. Look at me. Taunting Giannis after the game. Just wild. and you've never dreamed of it happening in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s in NBA basketball. You'd never dream of it. And there's a couple of things there. The parents wouldn't even think of doing that. I just mentioned some, famous players and like parents. It's just that generation. That's why I'm going to tell you, I've always said this. I think fans and sports behavior is worse today. It's not just because we have phones and we take videos of everything. I really believe that. Let's take some texts. If you want to get in, I'll do that. 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. Let me ask this question. What best explains a dad coming onto the court and talking trash after an NBA playoff game? I mean, you never thought you'd see that. But I actually, you know what? Last night, I wasn't that surprised. I mean, I thought it was kind of wild. It's like, what's Giannis doing with head-to-head with the dad here? What? Holy cow. But I wasn't surprised when I watched the video and the dad was the one who started the taunting. I wasn't surprised. I'm like, that's what we do. We talk smack. And now parents that, have been emboldened to act certain ways, even at the youth sports level, we scream at refs, screams at coaches, all this and that. No wonder. And Tyrese Halliburton's 25 years old. So I'm not telling you, he's not LeBron 40, coming from a little older of a generation. He's 25. So that's the perfect picture of when this young sports culture got going like this. I really believe that. Do you think it's our sports culture or it was just one bad moment last night? Just one bad moment, just the way it went. Or is it our sports culture that explains how something like that were to happen? Because it's just the look at me stuff. We do it on social media. My kid scored this, my kid scored that, and it's look at me, and the parents say, I'm a part of this. And Tyrese Halliburton's dad, he can have fun, that's great. He acted like he was the man last night. Tyrese made the buzzer beater shot, and the dad wanted to be like he was the man. It's almost like people say how they live through their kids. That's what that felt like. People like to say, hey, don't live through your kids in sports. That's what that felt like last night. 74% of you are saying on the Twitter poll, what explains the dad coming out of the court and talking trash? It's our sports culture. 74% of you vote it's our sports culture. 26% of you are voting it's just one bad moment. Don't overreact. Listener text. Let's get to some of these. 605-720-1067. You want to sound off on it? Our parents dealt with their coworkers going postal was the new term back in the 80s, but when we were kids, I don't remember any crazy parent reactions. I think social media has fed into the problem. Oh, no doubt. I mean, it is. The sports culture has combined with the social media culture, and it's out of control. That's what I mean. The sports, the taunting, the smack talk, the things like this, that's combined with the social media, and it's just out of control. Listener text coming in. He shouldn't be allowed to go to another playoff game. Shouldn't be allowed to go to another playoff game. See, and I'm going to say, the Atlanta Falcons D coordinator got fined $100K for his son pranking Shedeur. And I mentioned on the show here, when was that, Monday? I said, I wonder if they're going to fine him. And people are like, oh, you can't do that. See, that's what I mean. It's like, it's just a joke. It's a joke. It's funny. Who cares? I like the funny, right? No, not in that case. And so they did get fined. Falcons $250, the D coordinator $100K. And so I don't know. What do you do here at the Pacers? I have a feeling they're just going to say, we said we're sorry, we're fine. Well, the dad got onto the floor. Why was he allowed to just do that? Does that open the door for other fans? What if other fans want to jump onto the floor, front row seats? These guys are paying huge dollars. I get to jump on the floor and taunt some players now? Very interesting. So what do I mean is, do you fine them? Do you actually fine the Pacers for that problem last night? Lister Tech said he shouldn't be allowed to go in any more games. Lister Tech, it's today's culture. It's getting more normalized from public figures, trickling down to basketball teams. Let's see. I want to know what you think about this. So that's my read on it. People said, oh, it was just, it just happened. Got caught up in the moment. Well, how come the old school parents never got caught up in the moment? How come my parents never, stormed the court or and yelled at refs at a tournament in Rapid City? I wonder. I saw that a month ago. How come that never happened with my parents, but it's happening today? Something not quite right. Today's sports culture combined with the social media aspect, there's a lot of things there, and that's the perfect example last night. A dad who's been in that world, superstar athlete. I don't know Tyrese Halliburton. Seems like a pretty good guy, actually. I don't know, but seems like a pretty good guy. I don't know the dad. Maybe he's a good guy. Big mistake last night, and it just goes to show this type of stuff way more prone to happen now than ever before. Coming right back with Chris Denker, pro basketball scout, a basketball dad. He's been a D1 college coach, and he's a scout now. I want his read on this and more. Chris Denker next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Okay, who's ready to fish? Fleet Farm's all stocked and ready to go with the hottest brands to help you gear up for the season. Like the latest lines and lures from Berkley, Fluger rods and reels, Northland tackle, bobbers, and bait, all sorts of Senko worms, the best in fish finders from Humminbird, Lowrance, and Garmin, St. Croix rods, new releases from Abu Garcia, and more. Stop in and check out the latest fishing gear from all your favorite brands at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Looks like winter is losing its grip and we are headed for warmer weather to come. How did your car make it through the winter? Hi, this is Martin from Al's D&I Repair. Winter is hard on your car, especially on the components underneath. The sand and chemicals that make winter driving safer can affect the brakes, chassis, and exhaust parts. While you have your car in for routine maintenance, we'll inspect your car to make sure you are set for spring and summer travels.
Al's D&I Repair on Sturgis Road. Call 348-1447 to set up your appointment.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows dip down to about 41. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again. Tomorrow, thunderstorms likely. Highs around 60. Chance of rain showers. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 37. Clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 54 degrees.
Driving around the Black Hills looking for a quick and easy stop to fix your cravings? Why not try Black Hills Coffee Cabin? Black Hills Coffee Cabin is the gateway to Hill City, serving the best specialty drinks in the Black Hills, like Dark Canyon Coffee branded espresso, as well as offering house-made pastries and breakfast burritos. We also have a variety of non-coffee drinks, including smoothies. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Conveniently located at 23828 Highway 385 as you enter the heart of the Black Hills. That's Black Hills Coffee Cabin in Hill City.
All right, we're talking with Britt Wicked at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for an Elevate Performance Health Minute. Right now, it's baseball season, and one thing I know with baseball, I hear about this overused shoulder injury.
It's something that we see a lot clinically. Repetitive motions place ourselves at an increased risk for sustaining an injury, especially if it's a movement that hasn't necessarily been done a lot previously.
And one thing, some people say, well, you just have to rest, but not all the time.
Yeah, so it's good to take a break in a sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean do nothing at all. If you're experiencing symptoms like that and having soreness with throwing in particular, that's a good time to be seen by a physical therapist to try to assess the root cause of your symptoms. You could have weakness in the rotator cuff. We could have some shoulder instability. There's a lot going on with throwing, so it's important to have that thoroughly assessed to get you back on the road to recovery.
Get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Just getting started on a Wednesday. A lot of great guests tonight. Mike Golick Jr. is coming up. Great guest on tap. Dave Hollenbeck's in, St. Thomas More boys basketball coach. His sons are both playing D1 now. That's amazing. Longtime coach at St. Thomas More, Dave Hollenbeck. They took an interesting route to get where they are. Two sons of his now playing D1 hoops. We'll talk to Coach Hollenbeck straight ahead. Craig Maddox on tonight as well. Busy show tonight. Lot to get to. Chris Denker is on. Pro basketball scout, netscoutsbasketball.com. Former D1 coach. Also has a son playing college basketball, so he's got a lot good insight here of what I want to discuss. So we'll talk NBA playoffs and the whole thing. Chris, welcome back on. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. In fact, I think I was just hearing your lead in there. I want to say that my son Quinn and the coach you just mentioned, they might have played against each other this year, I think.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay.
It's small world.
I like that. Let me ask you this. I want to start with this incident last night. You're a dad here. You've been a youth coach. You've been a USA basketball coach. You've been a D1 college coach. So here's my contention. Maybe it was just a bad moment last night for Tyrese Halliburton's dad. It could have been. I just wonder how we've gotten from, would Michael Jordan's dad get onto the court and taunt Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas? I wouldn't dream of it, yet we've gotten there in 2025. And I think there's many reasons going all the way back to our youth sports culture, parents at games. That's what I think. I really do believe that, because I don't think that stuff happened back in the day. What did you think? How would you relate that last night to why does that happen now? And it wouldn't have happened with Magic Johnson's dad.
Yeah, no, for sure. Very, very disappointing, very ugly. Mostly ugly. Obviously, it's ugly for Halliburton and his family, and he was disappointed and apologized for his father. That said, it's worse for the Pacers and then really for the league. And here's where I first of all, totally agree with it's kind of AAU culture. Unfortunately, it's kind of like how youth sports are at times. You see these, YouTube videos and things of incidents like that happening, or somebody will approach an official, or whatever the case may be. I'm confused by a few things, and one is just the mere fact that it happened shouldn't have happened, and that's on Mr. Halliburton. He needs to be more of a grown-up than that. But secondly, what took so long for security to get there? I mean, look, all the players are to be treated the same, but we're talking about a league MVP in Giannis, and fans are going to flock to him, and there should have been some protection there much, much sooner, and there was none. I mean, they had a extensive conversation, in my opinion, as far as this is related. That went on way too long. They're lucky Giannis didn't just clock the guy. And so it was really ugly. Second thing is, and again, as it relates to the league, I just kind of wonder out loud, like you just mentioned, I coached college basketball for a long, long time. and coached professional basketball, and now I have a son playing Division I basketball. When I get, what they call player pass list tickets or comp tickets, and you go sign and show your ID, and you go sit in the family section, it's not courtside. It might be behind the bench, a few rows up, whatnot. You watch the NCAA tournament, and they're showing, let's take John Calipari's family. Well, they're 3 rows up behind the bench. But there's a barrier between them and the teams. You're not just storming the court. So we've seen this with John Morant and his father sitting. He's smack dab courtside, talking to the players. And now you see this with Halliburton. I wonder how that is. Are they buying those tickets? And if so, does it come with kind of the caveat that, hey, you can go ahead and buy those and sit here, you paid for these tickets, but just like anybody else, you step out of line, you're losing those, and we're taking your rights to season tickets, et cetera, et cetera. It's not okay. You don't see, take a guy like Spike Lee. He's over there for years talking to players, and there's kind of John back and forth, and it's sort of everybody understands that he's a lifelong Knicks fan and all that, but you don't see him run out to the foul line and get in, to your point, Michael Jordan or Isaiah Thomas or Bill Laimbeer's face and essentially challenge them. It's disgusting.
It was something. It really was. And so I think about this, Chris, and I say, what if that was Draymond Green? Giannis, I think, handled this well. I know he got fired up, got another little dust-up with a player or two after that, but then he talked about it after the game pretty thoughtfully. So I think Giannis handled it well. This is a terrible loss for the Bucks. That was bitter. People get mad about losing a high school game and lose control. This is a bad loss. He handled it well. What if that was an enforcer? I don't know, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, just come to mind. I wonder what would have happened.
Yeah, and to me, and we can talk more about the Warriors and Rockets and how physical that series has become, but the guy like a Stewart from Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
That guy's been involved in multiple fights this year. I think they should take action against him and the Pistons and the Rockets the way they're playing. That's me. But, you saw earlier with Stewart and the fight that included Minnesota that got into the bleachers or the front row of the stands there and where the press were seated and the photographers, and that turned ugly. But that was players and players, not to justify it. It was ugly. But my contention is if that had been him there, you wouldn't have seen the same kind of patience that Giannis exhibited. And I think you're right. I think he did handle it extremely well, both during and then after. But yeah, you're right. Had it been somebody else, or perhaps somebody who didn't know that was, Mr. Halliburton or whatever, and I don't even know if Giannis knew, but just they possibly wouldn't have handled it the same. And that's what I said earlier. I think they're lucky Giannis didn't just throw the guy to the ground or clock him or whatever, and then you would have had a real thing, issues happening.
Yeah, very ugly. Could have been very, very ugly. Chris Denker's on tonight. NetScoutsBasketball.com wanted his read on that situation last night. I want to go to this Warriors-Rockets series. So here's one thing I don't love. We're reviewing everything. We have to review this, review that. We had reviews in the second quarter the other night. I'm trying to watch the game. It took 20 minutes to get through 2 minutes. It was unbelievable. And it's from all the physicality. And I don't know, how do these officials manage this type of stuff? Because you got to review flagrant 1, flagrant 2, common foul. How do you think they should handle this?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, as an official, I think there's some I guess I'd call them gaps or little minor tweaks that need to be made to the review process. In that, can you call for a review, and let's say just hypothetically, it's a review of the ball went off such and such's leg, but then they can go and put a foul on, or we had a foul on this guy. But, in hindsight, it looked like Curry might have pushed the guy into him. And so then you can add, and so to me, you're really opening up a big can of worms, and then you start to ask yourself, well, why are the officials even out there? Let's just go and change it like that. And in every instance the other night, look, let's make no bones about it. Okay, first and foremost, I live in the Bay Area, so I'm more of a Warriors fan than I am a a Rockets fan without fail. Okay, but I don't think there's anybody alive that can't see that the Rockets are trying to be the enforcers here, trying to be physical.
Yeah.
It starts with Ime Udoka. I think he's pushing it. He wants that narrative, and he's even during the regular season gotten into it with opposing teams' players and talking and whatnot. The league should, have their antennas up as it relates to him, but he's got his guys doing that. Who are the two veteran guys they went and signed to try to help create a more of a winning culture? Fred VanVleet does a fantastic job of that. He was great with the Raptors, even back to Wichita State as a player. He's great, but he does play tough and physical. Now, this is not dirty. Get me clear. This. Everybody always used to say one of the most physical players in the league is John Stockton. Because he was a tough little guy, but he wasn't like undercutting people and trying to hurt guys. But it's, hey, set this tone. And then you've got Dylan Brooks, who I'm a Duck. I've met Dylan. My kids have had photos with Dylan. He's turned into a different player. Now he's doing stupid stuff, and he's again setting a veteran tone. But he's been a winner too. He's been on successful teams and Canadian international teams that have been very, very good, and he's played a big part in it. But that's gone over the top. The guys they've got that are just doing things that, Thompson, even Green, Şengün, who's a great player, but if you watch him away from the ball doing crazy stuff, I think they are the enforcers. In both of the review things that you mentioned, somehow they came back with 2 to 3 technicals and or fouls against the Warriors, and only one against the guy who started the entire thing. And I can tell you, I used to officiate college football at a high level and still officiate high school football. And one of the things that's always handed down, even at the NFL level, who initiated everything. That guy is the one to be. He's going to get the first unsportsmanlike. He's going to get the 15. Now, if there's retaliations, you might get them both. But we don't just want offsetting because that makes it easy. If there's one guy that started everything, that's the guy responsible for this. And, if you took that premise into this series, it would be a rocket. In my opinion, and call it biased, it would be a rocket in every instance.
Do you think the physicality, so Rockets, Warriors, really physical. I hate all the reviews. I really do. Timberwolves, Wolves, Lakers tonight. That one got physical. Anthony Edwards, LeBron, Gobert's always doing something. Physicality, this is like old school kind of, this is how, rough and tumble NBA. Where's the balance? Do we like this? Ratings are up in the playoffs 25%. Do we like the physical stuff?
So, see, here's where there, I think, for me, there's a line. Because I'm definitely, we've talked about this before, Nate, the Celtics, right? I'm a huge old, Celtic Lakers. You mentioned Magic earlier. We talked about the Pistons, Lambeer, Isaiah Thomas. I'm a huge fan of those old Bulls teams, etc. And they all played really physical. And in those days, the Knicks with Ewing and even Jordan, who was a guard, could post up, right? So there was a lot of low post play, which, prompts physicality. And now in this day and age, you're seeing a lot more three-point shots and open, so maybe you don't see the low post physicality. Where I think the line kind of needs to be drawn, or was drawn then, is the foul you saw late when Brooks got a steal, was driving down like he was going to dunk it. Jimmy Butler chased him down, jumped, most definitely slapped him on the arm going for the ball, blocked the shot / foul. No dispute, definite foul. Did not undercut him, did not hit him with his body, did not shove him into the stanchion, nothing cheap. It was a definite take foul, or, I think there used to be the Jordan rules, or whatever they called it, no layups allowed, right? Pat Riley. That I'm okay with. That physicality, hard screens, I'm okay with. What I'm not okay with is, just watch the Warrior-Rocket series. Away from the ball, watch Curry. How many times is he being bear-hugged trying to cut somewhere, and they're not calling any of it. And it's getting totally out of hand. The undercut on Jimmy Butler. I mean, a lot of these plays are just totally out of hand. Go back to the Pistons. There's an article written like a week ago where they're embracing, we're trying to be like the bad boy Pistons. And like I say, Stewart, They don't care that they got into a fight with somebody and it's cool. See, to me, you've gone over that line. And so I don't know that necessarily that's gotten out of hand in the Laker, Minnesota. It's definitely been physical. But I don't know that I've seen anything where, punches are about to be thrown or it's gotten egregious. And as you mentioned, that really messed with the Warriors-Rockets flow of game the other night. We're going in the second quarter, we're going to review multiple times for lengthy periods, and that ruins the game.
2 series tonight. I'll let you run with this. Do the Warriors take out the Rockets tonight? Do the Wolves take out the Lakers? Both games tonight.
Yeah, so, obviously it helps Golden State to have Jimmy Butler back. That makes a big difference. It opens up guys like Moody, Podziemski, who was good the other night, Buddy Hield, and then even Quentin Post, the big Post kid who rebounded well a couple games ago and then shot and rebounded last game. It's because now you've got another weapon on the floor, and that changes their defensive rotations and the things that they can do. That said, I think you're going to get Houston's best effort at home tonight. They're going to try and make it 3-2. Rallying cry, the whole deal. It's going to be ugly again. I'm sure it's going to be crazy physical again. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Houston win that. I would want Golden State to close it out, but I think Houston's going to bring you everything they've got. In the other series, Minnesota and the Lakers, I've felt like the Timberwolves are the better team. Now I think that the Lakers and J.J. Redick are doing a really good job trying to do the things that they can do to try to win. Is it always executed? No, not necessarily. And if you look at the T-Wolves wins, I think the one, like the other night, was probably the closest game they've had. They won by 10, 12, 15 points in their other games. So I feel like they're the better team. They've got Anthony Edwards, who looks like the best player on the floor. And then late, I didn't like the Lakers, and I think Doncic really stalled the ball. LeBron was just kind of standing on the side. Reeves is trying to be involved, but again, it was just Luka kind of dribbling around. They got down to late clock many times. It just didn't look. They looked very discombobulated, and so I felt like the Timberwolves were that team. So I would not be surprised to see them go into LA. Well, albeit just like Houston, I think LA will bring their effort and bring their game. But I think if it's close down the stretch, I think Minnesota wins. Chris Denker on tonight talking hoops. Wanted his perspective after that deal last night with Halliburton and Halliburton's dad, Giannis. NetScoutsBasketball.com. Chris Denker on tonight. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. You got it, Nate. Thank you. Appreciate it. Chris Denker tonight on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Pro basketball scout, former D1 college coach, NetScoutsBasketball.com. All right, let's go college football and draft with Mike Golic Jr. Hey, there's a college football program that just report on how much money they're going to spend on NIL this next season. It's unbelievable. And it dwarfs what Ohio State reportedly spent this past year. Mike Golic Jr., TNT college football analyst, next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Military, first responders, teachers, Renewal by Andersen is offering a heartfelt thank you with its first ever appreciation sale. 20% off every window and door, no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. Plus an additional 9% off if purchased on the initial consultation. That's 29% off. Military, first responders, teachers, this is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
you need us. For the extreme athletes or those everyday activities. From kiddos with broken bones to retirees with creaky knees. Whether you're pumping iron or planting petunias, we'll be in our clinic locations throughout the region, working together. Monument Health Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, getting you moving again, so you can confidently say, I'm back. Go to monument.health/orthopedics to find out more.
Cadillac Jacks is Deadwood's exclusive home of the Roaring Riches Jackpot. Just be actively playing your favorite slot machine with your club card engaged for your chance to win. The Roaring Riches Jackpot starts at $7,500 and must hit by $10,000. Plus, you can keep up to the minute on the current Roaring Riches total on your Cadillac Jacks mobile app. Roaring Riches has already paid out $2 million. Anyone at any time on any spin. You could be the next to win. Only at Cadillac Jacks Gaming Resort.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the #1 place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
Sprockets Fun Foundry. Joy and fun for everyone. Immerse yourself in another world with virtual reality. Play the newest arcade games for the lanes. Sprockets Fun Foundry. Always family-friendly fun. Something for everyone. Birthdays and parties. Online at Sprockets.fun. Sprockets Fun Foundry. Joy and fun for everyone.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Appreciate you being here. Follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and watch the show live. Welcome in studio. Mike Golick Jr. is on tap. He's not in studio, but he is on the Nate Brown Show. Mike Golick Jr., TNT college football analyst, on Twitter at Mike Golick Jr. Mike, welcome back in. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Nate?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you hopping in. I got a big question right out of the gate. Did your dad at any time get onto the field and taunt any of your opponents after a win?
No, I don't think that ever came up. I know when my dad was coaching, he would get into it every once in a while, but he was usually a not going to respond unless provoked kind of member of the entire equation. You know, he kind of understood what his role in the entire ecosystem was supposed to be, and so he was largely content to hang back in the cut. You weren't going to see him out there waving a Mike Golick face towel around in the face of my enemies.
Okay, I'm with you. I just wanted to make sure. Let me get your read on this Bill Belichick story, and I'm going to get to a couple other things. The Bill Belichick as a college football athlete at North Carolina. You take me inside. You're a former player, not too far removed, Mike. What are the players thinking of the 24-year-old, the CBS interview, the whole deal the past few days?
Where is the Bill Belichick we saw our entire lives? And now, I grant you, everyone that has played for Bill Belichick at the professional level knew a different version of him than we knew on the outside. And so it wasn't like all of us. But for these young men who are now in his program, I'm sure there's a little bit of shock based on what they thought they were getting into, based off what they had all grown up around. For all of their childhood into their young adult lives, Bill Belichick's been part of the greatest winning machine ever known, and he's done it as a largely mute presence in front of the microphone and to the public. And so now to get there in private and see not only a woman that looks like she could be your classmate in the mix in all this, but just in general, the coach seeming to have less of a handle or a very different handle on this situation than he ever had before, it's got to be wild. I pay pay-per-view prices to hear audio footage of what's being said in the locker room right now while this is all going on, because there's no doubt players have seen wild situations involving coaches for as long as there's been organized athletics behind closed doors. But to see this all playing out in public, as you're getting ready for the first season under the Bill Belichick regime at a level of football he's never coached, it's just a lot more variables than we're used to being involved. And so it's got to be wild to be in that locker room right now.
Okay, do you think it can impact the job, his coaching ability in North Carolina? I don't know what's going on there with the girlfriend. I don't know. Could it impact the job?
I guess the weird answer is maybe. Like, I still don't know because I'm not on the inside of that North Carolina program, and I understand that there are, anonymous reports that there are personnel high up at UNC's decision-making that are a bit concerned about what they're seeing as far as her influence and what it's had an effect on Bill. But we just don't know day-to-day how he's been running the program, and if it has been different than it would have been based on her interaction. And if that was, then this will become more of a thing if they start losing. And listen, the weird part is Bill Belichick coming to this level could have lost for a variety of reasons. College football is different than it used to be. It's a different level of coaching than he's used to in terms of what you can and can't do, the players that you're coaching along the way. So there's a million legitimate reasons for North Carolina in the year of our Lord 2025 to not be very good at football. But now, because the thing that Bill Belichick hardly ever let happen, there was outside noise surrounding his program. Now, because of that, that's going to be the place that people latch onto, and that was what he always sought to keep from happening. So whether or not there's validity to it, and to the extent it has an effect, we won't know internally, but publicly, it's going to draw even more attention to a situation that was going to be really curious to begin with.
Mike Golic Jr. on tonight, TNT college football analyst here on the Nate Brown Show. I just saw the Houston Chronicle report today about NIL. They say Texas is going to pay about $35 to $40 million for the roster next season. Ohio State reportedly spent about $20 this past year. Texas going maybe $40. That includes the revenue sharing allotment, so almost double. What's your take on that?
Not overly surprised, especially for a program in Texas that feels like it's right on the cusp. Now, they're going to be dealing with a new quarterback in Arch Manning taking over, who we've seen in a limited sample size. But what is shown in the last number of years is they're close. They're a team that's been the last 2 years in the college football playoff. They're a team that's reset the foundation of their organization along the lines of scrimmage and always been able to have marquee skill talent. Sark shown they're a contender. And so I'm sure that's a great and easy time to be able to walk boosters and say, hey, you open up the pocketbooks a little more, imagine what we can do. Look what we've already done, and imagine with your donation what kind of players we can go out here and secure to get over the hump to the next level. And this goes back to the core of college football that's always existed, whether it was NIL or the Bagman or anything that existed before, is the ego involved around rich people who want their program to be the one of note. It is a spending force that is hardly something we encounter anywhere else in life, and it's one of the most unstoppable forces there is. And so if you can get a bunch of motivated rich folks on your side with the arsenal that Sark's already got, there's no telling what you can accomplish. And Ohio State's a great example of that. They had always been a program that did great in recruiting. They were always an incredibly talented program, and then they went out there and they made sure in all the other areas, surrounding a core, by the way, that was one they recruited. Those guys like Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau and all of those guys that were a part of a class that changed Ohio State's modern history, those guys were the core, but they added the garnishes with a lot of that NIL money. They kept those guys and got some guys to come back with NIL money. So they're proof of concept for a program like Texas.
Mike Golic Jr. on tonight. You covered college football. Shedeur Sanders, second in the nation in touchdowns, and the whole saga here this weekend. Do you think you would have taken him over Jackson Dart?
In a vacuum, if we're talking about maybe the quarterback, yeah, I think there's some debate there. Jackson Dart has a little more in the way of ability and a little less in the way of noise around him. And so I think for me, yeah, as I evaluated these quarterbacks coming out, I probably would have gone the Shedeur Sanders route, as I thought a lot of these guys weren't necessarily first-round quarterbacks, but we know how the NFL works. We know the need of that position. And so those guys always tend to get drawn up into the first round. But this situation, to me, kind of felt very similar to the situation with Nico Imaliava in college in Tennessee, where it's a player that just is not talented enough to go out and try to wield the level of power that appears that he or his camp did throughout this process. And in Nico's case, it was the transfer portal process, and in Shedor's case, it was the pre-draft process. And both got shown that the market does not view them highly enough to be able to tolerate whatever else might come with that.
All right, and I'm happy to know that Mike Golic Jr. never got the number of a draft pick off of his dad's iPad or anything either, right? You never got that.
No, never managed to work that out. Although when I hit puberty and people had to call the house phone back in the day, and people from ESPN used to call for my dad, I would try and see how long I could keep them on the phone before they realized they weren't talking to him. So I think that's as high as my dishonesty rose when it came to cell phone-related adventures.
Okay, yeah, they called. Is this Mike Golic? Yeah, this is Mike Golic. Okay, you had him. You had him.
Yeah, technically not wrong.
Right, TNT College Football, Mike Golic Jr. Follow him at Mike Golic Jr. Great follow. Thanks for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nate. Have a good one.
Mike Golic Jr. tonight, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Great guest, TNT College Football analyst. Find him on Twitter at Mike Golic Jr. Yeah, so that new report, the Houston Chronicle just released how much Texas is going to pay for their roster. $35 to $40 million. That would be the highest number that I've ever seen. Ohio State reportedly was a little over $20 million this past year. Texas for this next year, $35 to $40 million. And get this, that doesn't include Arch Manning, who's not going to get any NIL money from the school. He's getting it all from his own sponsors. So, woof. That's quite something. But remember what Jay Billis said yesterday? Jay Billis, the great college basketball analyst. Remember what he said yesterday? We touched on this. The NIL money provides more balance for these other schools to get good players. Not like Texas to have $40 million and Boise State to have nothing. It's going to provide more balance, right? Sure. Good idea. Texas, $35 to $40 million in NIL is the report from the Houston Chronicle for this next season. Coming right back, I've got a question of the day. I want to ask you about these South Dakota draft picks. Dallas Goedert, Tucker Kraft, Gray Zabel. What do you find yourself doing when these guys are playing against your favorite NFL team? We'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Military, first responders, teachers, Renewal by Anderson is offering a heartfelt thank you with its first ever appreciation sale. 20% off every window and door, no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. Plus an additional 9% off if purchased on the initial consultation. That's 29% off. Military, first responders, teachers, this is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Please book your free estimate right now at rbarapidcity.com.
Fox Sports Rapid City Forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows dip down to about 41. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Thunderstorms likely. Highs around 60. Chance of rain showers tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 37. Clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 54 degrees.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Well, time to see how your car weathered the winter.
That it is. Let's make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the warm months ahead.
Being a AAA and ASE certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Justin and our techs have all the experience you need in diagnosing and repairing whatever may be ailing your vehicle.
And if finances are tight for customers, you can help there?
Yes, we can. We offer the AutoPass card, which has really been a huge help for people who are in dire need of repairs. Call us with any questions on this program, or you can get an answer in minutes right from our homepage at anytimeanytime.com. Just click the AutoPass Apply Now button.
What a great option for those who have repairs that just can't wait.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic opportunity for many people.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytimeanytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show on a Wednesday. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Find us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live. Reminder, the YouTube channel as well, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. You've got us on your phone on YouTube. Let's take a look at what's on tap tonight. A lot of show left. Craig Maddox coming up, SDPB Sports. Craig Maddox, East River and West River get together on the Nate Brown Show with Craig. Dave Hollenbeck's on tonight, St. Thomas More boys basketball coach. Interesting story with Coach Hollenbeck. I've known him a long time. His 2 sons now, I've followed them since they were young, and now they're Division I basketball players here at the same time. 2 guys out of South Dakota, now Division I basketball players. Coach Hollenbeck on their route to D1 hoops. What's on tap on the Nate Brown Show? Brought to you by the new Campfire Bar at Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. Featuring 20 local brews on tap at the Campfire Bar. Hey, the weather's going to get nicer consistently. They got a nice patio at the Campfire Bar inside the new Mr. Liquor 2 off Catron Boulevard. Okay, I have a question here. Question of the day. You know we do that on the Nate Brown Show. We've had some draft picks now out of South Dakota. This is great. I love it. And so I'm always a believer in you got to follow your home state guys. You got to follow your home state players. And I'm always a huge believer in that. Chad Greenway Vikings, I mean, just going all the way through, right? The Adam Vinatieri days and the whole thing. Got to follow your South Dakota guys. But I have a question because you have now some current players. You got Dallas Goddard, Philadelphia Eagles. Were you guys rooting for the Eagles in the Super Bowl? You got Tucker Kraft at your Green Bay Packers. You Vikings fans, do you pull for Tucker Kraft for the Packers? And now we got the Gray Zabel out of Pierce, South Dakota, going to Seattle. So maybe not as much of a rival per se, but let's say the Vikings have Seattle. You're going to be rooting for Gray Zabel and the Seahawks. I just find that interesting because I'm putting myself in this scenario of you got to pull for the South Dakota guys. I mean, we've had Ben Lieber on the show, so we all pulled for these guys, but Greenway played for the Vikings, Lieber for the Vikings. What about these guys that are playing for potentially not your favorite team? My question of the day, I'll throw it out, 605-720-1067 on the Barons Wilson text line or the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. I want to ask you if you root for the South Dakota guys, even though they're not on your favorite team. So if you're not a fan of the team, that's what I want to know. You're rooting for Tucker Kraft and the Green Bay Packers. Some of you Packers fans, of course. But I want to know if you're pulling for the Eagles, and the Chiefs fans are sitting here going, well, no, I mean, you can't do that. But can you? If you're not a fan of the team, do you root for the NFL teams that drafted our South Dakota boys? That's our question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. Let's go to the Twitter results right now coming in. 605-720-1067 is our number. If you want to text in, I'd like to know what you think. That's a tough one for me because let me just say, you know, you got South Dakota players that are all over the place. You got Van Ginkel at the Vikings, just got his deal. Then you've had some of these college players like Jack Cochran, USD, at Kansas City. Well, of course I'm not pulling for him. I mean, as a Broncos fan, do you root on those teams with the South Dakota guys? You're going to be rooting on the Seahawks. You can't be, as a Vikings fan, you cannot be rooting on the Green Bay Packers, right? I mean, sorry, Tucker. I love Tucker. But you can't root for the Packers just because Tucker Kraft's on there. So we're caught in a rock and a hard place. Here's the results coming in. 65% are rooting on those teams with South Dakota players. Little surprised. 65% rooting on the teams with South Dakota players. 35% say, no, I'm going to stick with my team. Let's go to some of the texts here. Of course I am. Remember Chad Greenway? Well, of course. We've had Chad on the show. But that's an easy one. He was with the Vikings. You got 95% of NFL fans in South Dakota are Vikings fans, right? Come on. 95%. Come on. So, yeah, I mean, Chad Greenway, that's fine. But I'm talking more like, were you going for the Eagles? Because Goddard was on there. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're a Vikings fan, you're kind of like, well, I don't like the Eagles. We hate Philly, right? Hate the Philly fans and the whole thing. But are you rooting for Goddard? That's 65% of you are, apparently, today. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. What do you say?
Good. Hey, so you can kind of have it a little bit both ways, but like I can root for a person and not the team.
You can.
Like you want to see them do well, right?
Oh, but, so you want to see Tucker Kraft get 3 touchdowns against your Vikings? Yeah, way to go, Tucker.
No. No, that was the second half of my point. Is if they're playing us, screw them.
Okay, there we go.
Team first, and then if we're not involved, then good luck.
But you're never rooting on the Packers. No.
Of course not. No.
Okay.
Absolutely
all right.
not.
Thanks for your honesty. I appreciate that. Now, that's what I'm saying. Okay? I mean, here's the thing. Adam Vinatieri, longtime kicker for the Patriots. Well, I hated the Patriots. So I have to be honest, I wasn't rooting for the Patriots. Sorry. Let's see. It's great to have these players represent South Dakota, but I'm not rooting for those teams. Okay, good one. Root away. Well, I don't know about that. Listener text, definitely root for the home state and local boys, but not the team. I could never cheer for the Eagles or Packers. See, now we're getting down to it. Listener text, I'll root for the players, not the team. Well, but see, that's the thing. We can't quite have it both ways. I couldn't cheer on Adam Vinatieri back in the day. Oh, Adam, come on, Adam, I want you to make this field goal again so the Patriots win for the 4th time. Not quite. Great player, Hall of Famer. Not quite. Listener text, a couple more here. Anybody who achieves that career out of South Dakota is awesome. I agree with that. Best of luck to these guys. I love watching them. It's great stories. Love watching this. It's amazing. Goddard, Eagles, impact player. Kraft, the Packers, great player. By the way, Tip Ryman out of St. Thomas More and Sioux Falls O'Gorman, now with the Cardinals. There's another one. I got to root for Tip, right? But nobody hates the Cardinals. I mean, come on. Nobody hates the Cardinals. Let's get real. All right. 65% of you rooting on those teams. Okay, I have a fun one here. Chris, our longtime listener, loyal listener to the Nate Brown Show. 5 questions from Chris. It's Wednesday. 5 answers coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Create the yard of your dreams with help from Menards. We carry a huge selection of garden supplies to bring your backyard oasis to life. Achieve a lush green lawn with Schultz Grass Seed Mixture. It's great for seeding new lawns and covers up to 13,000 square feet. Get a 20-pound bag of Schultz Hardy or Sun and Shade Mix. Now on sale. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Yeah, can I get the taco burger value combo? That's a value? I know it's a taco and a burger, but come on. Yeah, I can find a better value right across the street. No, not at the bait shop, at the gas station. I can get a South Dakota Lottery scratch game for as little as $1. You can actually win thousands of dollars. Almost enough to eat here.
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
Looking for a new sport utility? Looking for one that's easy on the gas bill? We have them at Danny Mental Rapid Chevrolet. Nearly 50 to choose from, most with the exclusive Danny Mental discount, including 28 all-new 2025 Equinoxes, plus Traverse, Tahoe, Suburban, Trailblazer, and Trax. Finance terms to fit every budget. Rates as low as 2.9% APR. See us at Danny Mental Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMentalRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Length of finance contract is limited on select models with qualified credit. Expires 4/30/25.
Eating in Deadwood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school who paints her face blue and white before every home game.
It's the accountants and salesmen and store managers who give up their Friday evenings to referee.
It's the graduate who listens to the league championship game on the internet.
It's the parent who sells ads in the school athletic program.
It's the cashier at the corner convenience store who wears school colors on every game day.
It's the trainers, equipment managers, and ball boys who never miss a practice.
What makes high school sports here in South Dakota so special? They do.
You do.
We all do.
High school sports. It's the we that every community needs. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome in tonight. Thanks for spending some time with us. Hope you've had a great day. Middle of the week hitter. Wednesday edition of the program. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. It's South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Also streaming there on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and YouTube. The channel is The Nate Brown Show. So you've got us on radio, digital, on your phone, however you want it. You've got it. And we're on demand as well. If you missed some of the show live, Mike Golick Jr. joined us in the opening hour. Great guest. Chris Denker, pro basketball scout. Great guest. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show is there. You can download it, fast forward, rewind, listen to who you want to listen to in the various segments. The Nate Brown Show podcast, available where you get your podcasts on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Search The Nate Brown Show. And you've got us, those high school sports ads that we play here to support the Activities Association and high school sports. I love those. Those are heartfelt. They're, the parent who makes it special and all of that stuff. How about the parent who storms the court and taunts the best player on the... Anyway, doesn't that make it special? How about the parent who screams at the officials? How about the fan who throws a water bottle at the ref? Good stuff. Good stuff tonight. Let's get into this. It's Wednesday.
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on The Nate Brown Show.
5 questions from Chris. He's back. Chris, our loyal listener on The Nate Brown Show, asks me 5 questions every week. So let's go, Chris. Question number 1. Nate, should the NBA go back to 5-game series in the first round of the playoffs? It was 2003 when the NBA went to 7 games. Wow, it's been that long. That long, Chris. Good stat there. Should they go back to 5 games? I don't care about it. It's a tough one, isn't it, Chris? You never I don't care about it. Because I'm a basketball fan, so I love having games on every night. I mean, this springtime is kind of a void, and it's Hoop Fest, and it's really good. I mean, you got Rockets Warriors tonight, you got Lakers Wolves tonight. That's good stuff. And so these series would be over by now. Those series would be over by now. For the 7-gamer, they're still going, so we'll keep it at 7. I'm fine with it. Question number 2. The baseball season's 30 games in. Starting to see who's going to be good and bad. And the Rockies are up to a franchise worst start ever in the history of their team. 4 games in the win column. On pace to tie the Chicago White Sox 121 loss record from just last year. If the Rockies tie the record or even lose more games, should Major League Baseball do something to force these teams to get better? I don't think you can do anything, Chris. I don't know what you can do. I mean, it's a total disaster. I think it is a bad look for MLB. The Rockies that's embarrassing, but they spend a little bit of money like Chris Bryant, and that's a waste. So I don't know how you can force these teams. Can you take over their front office? You can't. It's a terrible thing. Rockies are a mess. Major League Baseball, they just forget about them. They don't even care about these teams. So, there's a lot of Rockies fans in South Dakota on the western side. I mean, that's a bad deal. It used to be a summer thing. You go down to the Rockies games, watch. I went down there and watched my Cubs a lot. That was like an every summer thing when I was younger. And nobody's excited. It's a bad deal. Question number 3. The general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks, if you were him, Nate, would you try and trade Giannis right now? Damian Lillard's out for the upcoming season, blown Achilles. You got to try and get what you can. If you're the GM of the Bucks, do you trade Giannis even after the blowback from Luka Doncic being traded from the Mavs? Well, here's the deal. Those GMs, that's a no-win situation. Like the GM of the Mavs just getting killed over the past few months, just absolutely destroyed. And I get it because fans love the players. Those are the stars. The stars. It'd be like the Suns trading Devin Booker. I mean, you're just not going to win there. But you have to make the hard decisions. The hard decisions. But I would not do it, Chris. I'm going to trade Giannis, Milwaukee, NBA champion, the only guy that people love. I mean, this is emotional. And you risk taking off the entire fan base. And you try and tell them we're building for the future. And nobody cares. I would not do that, Chris. Question number 4. Green Bay, Wisconsin hosted the draft last week. Over 650,000 people attended. Population of Green Bay is a tad over 100,000 people. Should the NFL consider hosting this event in various spots outside of NFL cities, like Nebraska or Alabama college football places? Interesting idea, Chris. just full of interesting ideas. Should the NFL draft branch out and go to different markets outside of the NFL? I think it would work. I don't think it would be a big problem. Like, you put the NFL draft in Lincoln, Omaha. What do you think? Would that work? I don't know. I mean, I think people are going to flock to the NFL draft because there's fanatics of the NFL. And people wanted to go to Green Bay. It's the Mecca, right? You get to go to Lambeau. It's kind of the old school. So you wanted to go to Green Bay. People went to Las Vegas. People go to the draft. Me, I don't care about going to the draft. I like watching the draft. I would not want to go to the draft. But putting it in Alabama, a college football place, Nebraska, a college football place, maybe. But the NFL's going to keep it in their markets. Too much money. Too much money there. NFL will keep it in their own markets. Question number 5. Last one. 5 questions from Chris. The Arizona Diamondbacks had a player who hit 4 home runs in a single game this past weekend. It's a feat that's only happened 19 times in baseball. Okay, 4 home runs in a game. There's not a name for the 4 home runs in the game. There's always names for things. Striking out 4 times in a game, golden sombrero. There's the cycle. What would you give the name to a 4 home run game, Nate? This is a tough one. I'm going to go with a Mad Max reference. The Master Blaster. Master Blaster. Matt Kearney gives me reviews right now here in the studio. I'm looking at him. It's off the top of my head. Master Blaster, Mad Max, 4 home runs. Give it to me. Book it. 4 home runs in a game's the Master Blaster. You heard it here first. 5 questions from Chris in the books. Craig Maddock, our friend from SDPB Sports, talking South Dakota sports next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Military, first responders, teachers, Renewal by Andersen is offering a heartfelt thank you with its first ever appreciation sale. 20% off every window and door, no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. Plus an additional 9% off if purchased on the initial consultation. That's 29% off. Military, first responders, teachers, this is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Please book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows dip down to about 41. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Thunderstorms likely. Highs around 60. Chance of rain showers tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 37. Clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 54 degrees.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk. Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show on a Wednesday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here. Appreciate it. Listener text coming in for a 4-home run game. What catchy name should we give it in Major League Baseball? You never see these 4-home run games. You know, like the hockey, soccer, 3 goals, it's a hat trick. I just had a listener text, 4 goals is a Texas hat trick. 4 goals is a Texas hat trick. So 4 home runs is a Texas Master Blaster. That's Master Blaster. Listener text coming in. That's my name for a 4-home run game, Master Blaster. And I got a listener text says, love it, Master Blaster. Love it. All right, you and Matt Kearney both. Thank you. Let's go to Craig Maddock tonight. He is with SDPB Sports. His podcast is In Play. Interviews some great South Dakota sports newsmakers across South Dakota in past and present. SDPB Sports. Craig Maddock on tonight on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Craig, how are you?
Nate, doing great. Doing great. I would call it the quad.
The quad?
The quad.
Okay, not bad. Not bad for a guy spontaneous right out of the gate.
I've been awake for a few hours.
I've got one here. I've got one here. Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. Is that, okay. I got another one. The Slam Bang. The Slam Bang.
No.
I've got another one. The Turd Bitsky. The Turd Bit. No. I'm kidding. All right.
I kind of like that one.
Okay.
Just because you get to say turd.
Okay, I got you. Let me get into this. I have a question of the day. So Gray Zabel gets drafted out of Pierre, South Dakota. You've followed him at Pierre and winning the state championships, and so he gets drafted. I love seeing South Dakota kids in the NFL. Look what we got. Tucker Kraft, Packers. Dallas Goedert, Eagles, just won the Super Bowl. Gray Zabel, the Seahawks. We had the great Adam Vinatieri all those years. I have a question of the day. Do you root for the South Dakota kids' teams over your team? Do you root for those teams? That's my question of the day. I have many people saying, well, I root for the kids, but, I maybe don't root for the Packers. Can you get away with that? Can you?
Sorry, I can't. If it's the Packers or the Eagles, especially, I'll cheer for the kid, no doubt. I want our South Dakota kids to do well, but I don't want them to necessarily be successful when they're playing the Vikings. But
okay.
We're all there. We're all there. We want those kids to do well. We want Gray Zabel to do great. But it'll be interesting to see how he performs. When he's playing the Packers and the Vikings and those fans, the Broncos, to see how they feel about it. But for the most part, I think everyone agrees that we want them to do well, but not against our own teams.
Okay, I am with you on that. I think it's a tough one to say, I'm going to cheer for the Packers when you're a Vikings fan. You just can't do it. By the way, from the NFL draft, here's a number for you, and this comes out every year. So out of the 7 rounds, out of all the players, 91% of the guys drafted over the weekend were multiple sport athletes. I said something.
I hear that a lot. I hear that every year, and I like it. I really do, and I hope that other kids realize that you don't have to be playing just one sport to make it. Whether you want to make it into the NFL or the NBA, a lot of these athletes are multi-sport athletes. And at least certainly in high school, you want to see them being multi-sport athletes. A lot of coaches will tell you got a handful of coaches who will say maybe one thing but do another, where they don't really want their kids in their sport to be doing something else. But for the most part, coaches I talk to say yes, they encourage athletes, especially track and field, basketball players, football players, volleyball. A lot of those coaches really want those kids out at track and field.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. I love the multiple sport athlete thing. I think 91% of the NFL draft picks being in multiple sports is big. My thing is this. Those NFL players are elite. I mean, they are physical specimens. They're good at anything. And I don't know if some kids can get away with, hey, I'm going to try and be a pro volleyball player, a pro basketball player. Can I play other sports if I'm not elite?
Yes, you can, because coaches tell me that by doing the same sport over and over and over, it will wear your body out a lot quicker. And by doing other sports, it's you're going to be using other muscles and other memory stuff that goes with it that's going to help you no matter what sport you may try. So I hear that all the time. Coaches tell me that I'm still surprised we have coaches who think all they should do is play basketball or just play volleyball, because you know what? That body is going to break down sooner or later.
Craig Maddock on tonight, SDPB Sports. His podcast is In Play. So here's something that came out. Paul Seville ran the Dakota Schoolers. And he said,
great guy.
He said this last week: the best advice I can give for high school seniors in today's transfer portal and lack of basketball scholarships is to seek a solid junior college program. You'll play and develop, then move to the higher level. Colleges are not giving scholarships to high school seniors anymore. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think Paul hits the nail right on the head, and I've heard others say too that, if you don't quite have it, if you just don't quite have it to get into Division II or Division I, that they say go to the other route, get a year in, get some exposure, and then most likely you might get into the portal and someone's going to grab you.
It's interesting. I thought that was, he's been through that game, the Dakota Schoolers and all the prospects and all the recruiting. So he's saying coaches are taking these older kids that out of the portal instead of getting high school seniors. And he said, just get to the JUCO side, develop, get strong play, and then go this route. Well, that's interesting.
I hear that, especially basketball. I've heard this with Division I. They're not really going after the high school athletes. They're going through the kids in the portal because with the NIL and everything, they want that NIL money to be from someone who's got some experience, who's getting better, and they're kind of not looking at high school seniors as. I mean, if you're good, you're going to get looked at. But if you're marginal, you're going to get wiped out because they're looking at the kids in the portal.
Okay, let's go to a high school sports topic. The ADs voted on a bunch of stuff here in South Dakota. One is they were looking at doing the SODAC 16 in volleyball at home courts for Class A and B. Right now, the same story. In basketball and volleyball, Class A and B, SODAC 16s are at these neutral sites. So people say, why don't we do it like AA and just put the higher seed gets to host? You had the best season, you get to host a SODAC 16. Class A and B schools voted it down for volleyball as well. Why? What am I missing here?
They don't want the team with the, let's say, the lower seed. They want some sort of advantage so that equality, so that they're not at a home game. I know. I just soon go play the higher seed, it's worth something, isn't it? When you're having a good year and you get the higher seed, that's the way it should be in volleyball and in basketball.
I'm with you on that. So AA says we want to do it that way. I don't know. What am I missing, do you say, though, in Class A and B? Why do you think they don't want to, like you said, they don't want to give up home court, so they want to meet at a neutral site? Here's the other part. I've heard from coaches, though, that don't like the neutral site crowds. Like, some of these neutral site crowds are bad. It's a bad postseason environment.
Well, and some of those neutral sites really aren't neutral. I forget if it was volleyball or basketball. I think it was basketball. Sioux Falls Christian had the Sodak game, and it was in Harrisburg. You can throw a rock from Sioux Falls Christian to Harrisburg. So it really was a home game for them. If you want to look at someone complaining about some of the neutral sites out there, hey, just give it to the higher seed.
Okay. We would never put football at a neutral site. We wouldn't do football.
No.
Okay. So I don't get that one. Craig Maddock, that's why I bring him in, to enlighten me. He didn't quite do it on that one, but SDPB Sports, Craig Maddock, are you ready for your Vikings? J.J. McCarthy said yesterday, I'm ready to start. Mm-hmm. Is he ready to start?
I am staying awake every night because I can't sleep, because I can't wait until May 14th when the schedule will be released by the NFL. Then I will get really excited about when I will be at U.S. Bank Stadium to watch J.J. McCarthy rip it up for the Vikings.
Well, okay, I hope you're right. I think it's one of the biggest risks you guys have taken. This is risky. This is really risky.
Well, I'd rather have him 10 times over Aaron Rodgers, that's for sure.
My goodness, you just ended on a strong note there. Your podcast, In Play, we're in springtime. Do you have a new In Play?
There is going to be one released here real soon. I don't know which one they're going to release, but I have a feeling it could be this week. You know what? The big event is happening this weekend in Sioux Falls. It was going on 2 years before Gutzon Borglum started carving out Mount Rushmore.
The Dakota Relays.
The Dakota Relays. Howard Wood was longtime coach in Sioux Falls, and he came up with the idea of this type of a track meet where kids could go up against higher level kids, and he got sponsorships from all across the state. And after the very first year, the people in charge of that back in 1923 said this could be something big. And you know what? It's one of the longest running track meets in America. You'll hear more about that on my podcast, In Play.
Big year for the Dakota Relays. I wanted to hit on that. Great to have him. Craig Maddock on tonight. Dakota Relays coming up this weekend. His podcast, In Play. Craig, always good. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you, Nate.
Appreciate it. Craig Maddock on SDPB Sports, longtime Sioux Falls sports broadcaster. All right, Dakota Relays. That is something. It's a huge event, brings in some top-tier regional talent. It's a great, great track event. Good luck to all the athletes competing this weekend in the Dakota Relays. Lister text coming in on high school sports. So if you haven't followed this, so for the Sodak 16, you get AA, you host if you're the highest seed. So you had a better season, you get to host a chance to go to the state tournament. I think it works. It works in AA basketball and volleyball. Now the Class A and B basketball schools, before, they didn't want to do it. They said, we will still want to go to the neutral sites. So you end up playing a game in Phillip. And I don't understand what the deal is. Well, we meet in the middle. Well, they really don't. So then both teams have to travel. So not as much crowd. Both teams have to spend money. You have to get a neutral site school to administrators and the whole thing to volunteer to do it. It's a headache. And the volleyball schools in Class A and B said, hey, we get to vote on this. Should we just go highest seed host? Just make it easy. Highest seed host, the home volleyball contest. And they said no. So Class A and B volleyball just said no to the highest seed hosting again for the SODAC 16. So no basketball, no volleyball if the smaller schools. And I'm lost. I'm just lost. Listener text, a neutral site is better. Teams need to bring their crowds to the neutral sites. It's the best event to bring business to those neutral site communities as well. Yeah, but it's actually a headache for the Activities Association. They're looking more and more for these schools that are spread across the state. Hey, who would help do these games? And less schools want to do it. They had to move some of these games. I remember one they had to move because there wasn't enough space. You had 2 schools that were meeting. They had to move it somewhere else. I mean, it's a headache. So I don't. Here's what I like. I like consistency. So if AA does something, A and B do something. That's what I like, consistency. Like, it would be AA having a shot clock, and A and B don't want to do it because it costs to get a shot clock, and we don't have somebody to run it. And no. AA has a shot clock. We all have a shot clock like we do. Okay? Listener text coming in. Fans are not traveling to the SODAC 16 game in Murdo on a Tuesday night. That's right. I mean, these games are middle of the week, middle of nowhere. Sorry, Murdo fans, but we like our listeners in the middle of nowhere. But you guys hosting SODAC 16 games, those fans don't really go. They don't have any interest in watching St. Thomas More against Sioux Valley. I mean, they don't care. So I wish we would have went higher seeds hosting, but no go in basketball for A and B, and no go the vote just now for volleyball. They tried it. No go. Dave Hollenbeck is on tonight. Speaking of that, I'll ask him this deal. He has an opinion on these neutral site SODAC 16 games. He has an opinion. Dave Hollenbeck, St. Thomas More, boys basketball coach, but I really want to get him on. His 2 sons are now D1 college basketball players, and they took an interesting route to get there. Dave Hollenbeck, longtime head coach at St. Thomas More next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Save big money on your outdoor project at Menards. Get that lawn growing green and strong. Midwest Master is a premium all-purpose grass seed mix that starts growing fast and blends well into existing lawns. A 15-pound bag covers up to 3,750 square feet. Hurry into the Menards Garden Center to save big on Midwest Master grass seed. And check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
This Mother's Day, treat Mom to a brunch she'll never forget at the Box Elder Event Center. Sunday, May 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enjoy favorites like prime rib, grilled salmon, French toast, a kids station, and endless desserts. Capture memories with our photo backdrop, stunning balloon arches, and sweet fluff organic cotton candy. And hero moms, active military, first responders, and teachers get in free. Reservations are required. Visit thebox.live before it's sold out.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at Spearfish Motors. Freshen up your drive with a brand new GMC, like a Sierra HD, now up to $2,750 off, or a Sierra Light Duty with savings up to $6,250. At Spearfish GMC, we also have a great selection of terrains, Acadias, and Canyons, ready for wherever the season takes you. But just like spring, these deals won't last forever. Online always at SpearfishMotors.com. Spearfish GMC, we are professional grade.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live every afternoon drive on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here. If you missed parts of the show, good stuff tonight. Mike Golick Jr. joined us talking college football, transfer portal, NIL. Chris Dankeron, former pro basketball scout, former D1 college coach Chris Danker with Net Scouts basketball, talking the situation last night with Halliburton's dad coming onto the court. I mean, I found that unbelievable. I think Magic Johnson's dad would run onto the court and taunt Larry Bird. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But good stuff tonight. If you missed parts of that, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show is there. You can download it wherever you get your podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got it. Hey, Dave Hollenbeck's on tonight. Longtime St. Thomas More boys basketball coach. A lot to discuss with him. I wanted to get him on. A couple of his sons are playing D1 basketball now at the same time. Very interesting. You don't see that a lot in South Dakota. Coach, good to have you on. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Nate, for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time. I got to get your read first on a Sodak 16 measure, and I know you're opinionated on this, but basketball Class A and B, you guys do the neutral sites, and you said that hasn't been great for you guys in the past. Volleyball was thinking about going to hosting, Class A and B, the highest seed hosting. They just voted it down. Class A and B said, we want to still go to the neutral sites. What do you think it is about the neutral sites that more people like?
Well, I imagine the biggest thing is the travel. I think people are worried about traveling on a school night clear across the state. And when we do these neutral sites and meet in the middle of the state, obviously it's a lot easier on the travel and so forth. I just wish they'd figure out to be able to do these games on a Friday or a Saturday, and then the travel isn't such a big deal on a school night, obviously, and it just I would rather play in front of an atmosphere, than an empty gym.
Okay, that's what your read has been. It's like this is a postseason environment, should be anyway, and you think. Rather than going neutral site, even if you had to go on the road, Coach, let's say you had to go to Sioux Valley, you're okay with that?
Yeah, I think Sioux Valley deserves that. If they've got the high seed, I think they earned it throughout the season, having a good year, and same if we're the high seed, I think we earned that.
All right. Dave Hollenbeck on tonight, St. Thomas More boys basketball. I want to ask you about your program. You've been on the verge the last couple of years, haven't been able to get to state. What do you see with your program trying to get back to the top. You are consistently a state tournament contender. Where are you at? Where do you feel you're at?
Well, I think I feel we're in pretty good position right now. You know, we didn't finish like we wanted to this year, and we've got our starting 5 back for next year, and we've got some good kids in the pipeline. And then I think it was kind of the perfect storm this year when there was a lot of talented teams out here, and I think we'll be in pretty good position going forward.
Okay, you look at it, West River basketball, you've dominated it. How do you think that's grown now? I've seen some teams. Hill City comes out of nowhere. Hot Springs, pretty competitive. Custer, Rapid City Christian. How do you think that, is it just cyclical? What's the deal?
Well, I think, yeah, it is in a lot of cases now. I mean, one thing that we've been very fortunate, we've been able to maintain and be at the top for many, many years. And you know, granted, we had a down year, I guess. And, you know, people ask me, hey, what kind of year did you have this year? And I said, well, not very good. And he said, well, what was your record? Well, we were 16-6. And, you know, for a lot of people, 16-6 is pretty good. Obviously, our expectations are higher. But my point is, you mentioned Hot Springs, Custer, Hill City. How are they going to be in the future here is kind of my question. And I think that kind of answers your question. If it's cyclical, it is very cyclical, and so we'll see how those teams are next year and the year after and the year after. I think they've got good programs and so forth, but it's tough to maintain, and we'll see how they do next year, those 3 and the following years. But I can tell you it's not easy, and especially in our situation when we've been in 6 state championships here over the last couple of decades, and we've won 4 of those. But it's not easy to stay at the top, because when you get up there, you're a target every night out, and so we bring the best out of everybody. And you know, with our expectations like they are, 16-6 just wasn't acceptable for us, but is what it is, and we've got our starting 5 coming back next year, and we plan on getting back to the state tournament.
Dave Hollenbeck on tonight talking St. Thomas More boys basketball. I want to know, Sioux Falls Christian, they won the state title, had a big-time team. I covered your teams back in the day. People said maybe one of the best Class A teams. You had some D1 talent. Who can you compare those teams, Sioux Falls Christian this year, compared to one of your all-time great teams?
Well, they would have to fall in with our 2012 or our 2006 team, but they were really, really good. I honestly haven't seen a team in South Dakota with that much talent, and I'll even say all classes, not just our class. They were loaded.
Yeah. Sioux Falls Christian winning the State A title this year, going away. Okay, I want to ask you about, you got 2 sons that are going to be playing Division I basketball. You're a basketball guy. I understand it, so they lived and breathed it. But when you sit back and you got Connor and Caleb playing D1 basketball now, what goes through your mind?
Well, you know, I was coming home on the plane from our visit at Marshall with Caleb, and when I landed in Chicago, we ended up going 2 different directions because, or we planned to go 2 different directions. He was going to visit Mercer down in Georgia after Marshall, but once we got done with the Marshall visit and so forth, we just decided that night in the hotel, hey, let's just go ahead and get this done with. We're going to sign at Marshall. And so we canceled the Mercer trip, but my flight left at 5 in the morning, and so his changed, so he didn't get out till later in the afternoon. But when I'm coming back, I landed in Chicago, and the news broke, and some tweets went out, and then I saw your tweet, but when I looked down and saw that, it hit me. So it was a little emotional to think about where my two boys started and now where they're at the level they're at. Just knowing how hard it is. I don't care what level that you play at. It's really, really hard. Players are good nowadays, and for my boys to be playing at that level, I'm pretty proud of that, and it's exciting for our family, and it's exciting for my boys. Connor obviously played at Idaho State this year, and he had a great year. He played a lot and had a lot of success, and so. But it's difficult. He earned that. He's worked so hard to get to that level, but like I said, I don't care what level you're at. You got to be. You're good if you can play college.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it doesn't happen very much in South Dakota, Coach. Congrats to you, two kids. Caleb's going to go to Marshall and suit up and play this next year. Connor going back to Idaho State. We'll keep an eye on him. Coach Dave Hollenbeck, St. Thomas More. Coach, good to have you as always. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Dave Hollenbeck on tonight. His two sons playing D1. Caleb Hollenbeck at Marshall and Connor Hollenbeck at Idaho State. Good stuff. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Okay, who's ready to fish? Fleet Farm's all stocked and ready to go with the hottest brands to help you gear up for the season. Like the latest lines and lures from Berkley, Fluger rods and reels, Northland tackle, bobbers, and bait, all sorts of Senko worms, the best in fish finders from Humminbird, Lowrance, and Garmin, St. Croix rods, new releases from Abu Garcia, and more. Stop in and check out the latest fishing gear from all your favorite brands at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Spring is in the air, and so are the savings at Highmark Credit Union. Ready to hit the road this season? How about a new ride with a new car loan at unbeatable low rates for qualified borrowers? At Highmark Credit Union, you can drive away with low rates, flexible terms, and the freedom to make every trip to Highmark or on the road feel like a spring vacation. So, what are you waiting for? Spring into action today with a car loan from Highmark today. Visit highmarkfcu.com or stop by and see us. The road to savings starts here. We'll make it happen. Terms and conditions apply. Visit highmarkfcu.com for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance for showers tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows dip down to about 41. Winds out of the northwest 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Thunderstorms likely. Highs around 60. Chance of rain showers tomorrow night. Lows dip down to about 37. Clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 51.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Anderson has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Anderson has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room? Yeah, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Anderson. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not? On a Wednesday night, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Here on the Nate Brown Show, who's hot category going to the Caitlin Clark matchup. It's coming up Carver Hawkeye Arena Sunday. It's preseason. WNBA's Indiana Fever taking on the Brazilian national team. Tickets going for an average of $440. $440 to watch the Fever and Caitlin Clark take on Brazil at Iowa City coming up on Sunday. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, I think the Utah Hockey Club in Salt Lake City gave away their name. They were looking for a name. They started a YouTube channel. They put the handle, the Utah Mammoth, and now they took it down. Some intern's getting fired. He thought he had a job for the summer. He's getting fired. Whoops. Are they the Utah Mammoth? We'll see. Thanks for listening to The Nate Brown Show. We're back tomorrow. The podcast's going up right now.
I loved playing high school sports.